and to celebrate together.
Over.
President, you are very soft-spoken today. What's next?
SAA.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day. SAA. SAA is where there's no SAA today, so I'm standing in as your SAA for this on-ground flight. So, before we start the meeting, let us go through the pre-flight announcement. Just now you have seen on the flights. Now, to enjoy this meeting, we will be recording, and if you don't wish to have your video recorded, please turn off your videos, or you may wish to leave the meeting, but I would suggest that you keep your videos on, enjoy the meeting, join us in the celebration where we will test our flight. Because now we are on ground. On the flight maintenance, we will be going through the turbulence, through the winds, through zero gravity to make sure that we can prepare ourselves to go into the space, because our flight is going beyond the world into the space. And back to you, our TMOD for today. And who's that? Where is our TMOD? Sajid!
I'm here. Thank you very much, Madam Stand-in SAA DD, Past DD, Immediate Past DD. I don't know whatever those titles are. Kathy. A very good morning, a very good afternoon, very good evening. I'm so honored, and we are also honored to have you all in our ground meeting today. We have a lot of distinguished guests today, and it is a special meeting. We are celebrating our 6 months anniversary. Yes, you heard me. 6 months anniversary. Unmute yourself and make some noise. You should be proud of yourself. Oh, yes, and we are here to stay. We are here to stay. Now, when is the last time I actually celebrated a 6-month anniversary? Wedding anniversary? Never. I don't celebrate those anniversaries. I'm just too old for that. Engagement? No, it was too long ago. The only time I can remember is when I got my job. This job, I had to serve a 6 months probation. Can you believe it? 6 months. Long 6 months. And I was so excited, just as I am today in this club. So excited to complete those 6 months. It is an achievement in itself. And today is going to be something different, something for all of you to take away today. And please just hold on to your seats, stay on board. Don't jump off the window because we are on ground. Nothing will happen to you if you jump out of the window as well. So don't waste your time doing that. Just stay in your seat. You don't even have to fasten your belt. Just sit back, relax, enjoy your drinks, whatever you may have, water, wine, whatever else you enjoy, just have it. I can see one of our speakers already having some wonderful drinks there. Excellent. Just relax and enjoy yourselves. And World Travelers is a club which has got members from all over the world. That is why we are called World Travelers Club. So for those of you who are here the very first time, a very warm welcome to all of you again. We hope that you will also come on board with us. Oh, that was just a little promo for our club. Now, without wasting further any more time, I would just like to mention here that our evening is going to be phenomenal. Yes, phenomenal. We have lined up an exciting program for you today. And ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Don't run away anywhere. It's not like any other meeting where you have your typical prepared speeches and so on and so forth. It's different. And even role players, we only have a timer today. Shan Lee is our lovely timer. Where is our timer? Please raise your hand, Madam Timer. Yes, there she is. There she is. There you go. She'll always be on that top left-hand corner of the screen. Smile and say something. Hello, Shan.
All right, do watch the screen for the timing sequence and yes.
All right, there she is.
This is what happens when you are in your room and you have your parents coming in to ask you questions.
She has got a special seat on the plane because she even has her parents on board. So you see, so that's the advantage of even having your family on board with you. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to now just start off the meeting by handing over the screen stage or the online board stage to our darling president, Eliza, distinguished Toastmaster Eliza, to do the opening address. Over to you, Madam.
Thank you very much. Good evening, good morning. Can you all hear me? Okay, these few days, too many celebration is not so good. So after all the celebration that happening to everyone, I down with COVID, but I'm very happy because I don't have to fly today. So don't worry, I also not at the same room as all of you. I'm at the cockpit. So you can have the enjoyment, everything inside the flight. I will stay in my room at the cockpit for now. So 6 months ago, when we start this World Travelers, many people say that it's an impossible journey because together, all the people from all around the world is something like we cannot make it. But I'm very, very proud of all the members. After 6 months, we are still here, we are still flying. And these few months, I realized that all of us are becoming more crazier, and even we are more fun. We don't care about anything else like whatever in Toastmasters. Today, when I'm trying to make a video of our celebration for 6 months, I saw what our international president said. It's about led by head, led by hand, led by heart. So then after that, I realized these World Travelers already changed the direction. Last time, we want to get a KPI, we want to get a point. But now we want to have fun inside our flight. We just want everyone to be together in the flight, enjoy our flight, grow together. And I believe that now everybody is coming with their ideas. If last time only few people that giving the ideas, but now all the members are giving the ideas. And in these 6 months, I present you our inspiration that just come out to the room. Our immediate international president, Richard Ipak, is here with us for a short time. Hello, Richard. Anybody?
Hello, Eliza, how are you?
I'm not well, but
You're
I'm
not
here.
well,
I'm
why
inside the
not?
cockpit. Don't worry, I'm inside the cockpit. So I'm not together with every one of you. You can stay in the flight. So, how are you? Okay, so this is our inspiration of world travelers. And Richard, please, I know that you only can stay with us for 10 minutes, so please give us your little bit of motivation, spirit, and yeah.
Well, thank you, Eliza, and thank you to Kat for the invite. Great opportunity to get together with my friends at World Travelers Toastmasters Club as you celebrate an anniversary. And it's always great to take the opportunities to celebrate those milestone style events that occur, whether they be in your Toastmasters journey or in your personal life. And World Travelers Toastmasters, Eliza, since you were the brainstorm behind it, putting this club together, has made an impact every place it's gone. I've heard about the club showing up, members showing up, visiting other countries, which is a great opportunity. But when we think about months or years, those are just numbers. They come and they go. What doesn't change is the impact that you as members make when you're visiting clubs, when you're meeting with other members, when you're bringing guests on board. You know, we often don't think about the difference that we make in the world or the difference we make in people's lives, because that's not our focus. Our focus is becoming better individuals ourselves, better speakers, better leaders, whatever that means. But you have to remember that as guests come in, as members meet you, you make a difference in their lives too. I've watched you, Eliza, grow from a timid speaker to an individual who's more outgoing, taking on those leadership opportunities. That's the change the organization makes. That's the change we make in each other. So regardless of how long you're in existence, think greater on the impact that you make on the individuals you meet, on the individuals that become members, on the difference you make in the world, just by sharing a little bit about yourselves with the rest of us. It's a great opportunity to celebrate your successes, your milestones, but also celebrate the fact that you are changing the world. I wish you much success in the coming years, and I know I'll be coming back to see you again in the future. Unfortunately, I can't stay today due to another commitment, but I am appreciative of the invite. Thank you, Eliza.
Thank you very much, Richard. And please stay for a while. Let's have a group of picture. And I just want to let you know something, Richard. This is not only from me, but this is because of you, Betty, and all the crews of World Travelers that help us make an impact to the world.
Yeah.
Can we take a picture with?
Yes, we can take a picture before I have to leave. Yep.
No, we take picture with you. And thank you, Richard, for everything, for all the motivation and inspiration to all of us.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, 3, 2, 1, and one more page. 3, 2, 1, and yep, we're done.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you all. Thank you, Kathy. Oh, and thank you for the care package that you delivered at convention. I'm reading the directions on how to make some of those meals, and we'll take pictures of them and send them to you when we've done it. All right.
Sure.
Take care, everybody.
And
have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, guys, we're not having the... Okay, now I also want to share something about our journey flashback for 6 months. This is our World Travelers Toastmaster Club. let's get more travel around the world. So in these 6 months, we already have a lot of experience and we have many things great to come. So with that, I'm so sorry because my voice, I still cannot rhyme. I still cannot sing. I pass the podium back to our beautiful Toastmaster of the evening, Sajani.
Thank you very much, Madam President. And before we proceed, we would also like to acknowledge the presence of past international president, Dr. John Lau, who is also in the house. Can we just have a hello from him? Dr. John Lau? You will probably hear from him a bit later. He's having his camera turned on. Okay, no worries. Now let's start the evening. Are you all excited? Yes, definitely. Now today is going to be a special day, as I said. So without any more delay, I am going to pass now the floor to the moderator who will tell you much, much more. So I am just keeping my mouth shut and let her to do all the talking. So with that, over to you, Toastmaster Kim Low. Take it away.
Thank you very much, DTM Sajnis. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests wherever you are. It's indeed an honor to be here today with 3 very outstanding speakers. Like Richard said, every speech we make, we impact an individual. And these 3 individuals has impacted so many people all around the world, and especially at the World Championship of Public Speaking. So ladies and gentlemen, we have on board with us 3 outstanding speakers who are the finalists at the recent WCPS 2022. But first, I'd like to apologize on behalf of Nisha. Nisha could not make it today because she has an emergency meeting with a very important person in Qatar. So she sent her apologies. Nonetheless, the show must go on. So ladies and gentlemen, indeed an honor to have with us 3 very distinguished, very outstanding and phenomenal speakers, finalists of the World Championship of Public Speaking. Boy, just saying this. And let me introduce to you our 3 panelists. They will be sharing with us about their journey, about their experience, and what is it that they can share with us and teach us to be better speaker. So our first panelist I would like to introduce is none other than Mas Mahathir bin Mohamad from Malaysia. And Liza, over to you.
Mas Mahathir bin Mohamad, 2 gifts. 2 gifts, Mas Mahathir bin Mohamad.
Thank you, Contest Chair.
You're welcome.
My dad once told me there are 2 gifts that unite us. And because as Dad said, these are the 2 gifts that unite us. Contest Chair.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, our 2nd runner-up of the World Championship of Public Speaking. Let me give you a little bit of background of Mas Mahathir. He's a 2nd runner-up in the World Championship of Public Speaking 2022. 8 times district speech contest champion for international speech, table topics, and evaluation contests. Toastmaster since 2016. Professionally, Mas Mahathir is a co-founder of Mike Friend Academy, formerly known as the Mahathir Academy. His passion lies in developing confident speaking skill and leadership in individuals. And he has successfully done that not only for adults, but also for children. Thank you very much. And now I would like to go on to introduce to you our second panelist. And she is none other than Adeline Ng from Singapore. Liza, over to you.
Be bigger. Be bigger, Adeline Ng.
Thank you, contest chair.
You're welcome.
Imagine this. You're hiking in a forest with your best friend. Suddenly, you meet a bear. What would you do? Would you try to outrun your friend? What if that friend was your mother?
Yay! So let me give you a little bit of background about Adeline. And Adeline is an entrepreneur in the mental health space. This amazing lady, first time joined Toastmaster and is first time finalist in our World Championship of Public Speaking. Never happened before. And this is amazing, Adeline. And she is a mother of two beautiful daughters. Thank you very much, Adeline. And now, let me introduce you to our final panelist, Fursey Gotuaco from Texas, now based in China.
Gotuaco. Where's your name? Where's your name? Fursey Gotuaco.
Thank you, contest chair.
You're welcome.
Where's your name? I mean, literally, where is your name? Where did you put it? And did you put it someplace you'd be mirror? Was a chalkboard. Well, what 10-year-old boy can resist a chalkboard? And so I picked up the chalk, and with all the other foul things that they had written on the board, I wrote Fursey Gotuaco.
Fursey Gotuaco, ladies and gentlemen, an administrator and theater teacher for over 30 years, both in China and Texas. And he is currently, oh, I think he dropped off. So he's currently a co-principal and theater teacher at Hangzhou International School, Toastmaster of the Year for District 25 in 2021, and of course, the finalist for World Championship of Public Speaking 2022. So ladies and gentlemen, we are in for the trip with these three phenomenal finalists of WCPS 2022, my apology. So I do have a few questions for the panelists, and I'll start off with Mas Mahathir. Mas, the first question to you is, how do you prepare yourself for a very high-stakes speech, like the World Championship speech?
Thank you so much, Kim, for that wonderful question. So I'm going to define high stake as something that you really have to put your whole heart and soul into it, because this is something really important, right? So in that sense, what I do to prepare for this is I rehearse as much as I can. And I believe my fellow finalists here would have done the same. So in the World Championship of Public Speaking, I was rehearsing every single day. Was I sick with my speech? Was I sick of my speech? Yes. But the thought of, trying to inspire someone else continues to shape me, to push me to continue rehearsing. So every single day I would rehearse, not just one speech, I would rehearse both of my speeches every single day. And that in itself had that pressure, but because the stakes are so high, you just have to do it anyway. Yeah, so that's from me.
Right on about that, rehearse as much as you can. And the thought is to inspire somebody that pushes you on. I will pose the same question to Adeline. Adeline, how do you prepare yourself for a high-stakes speech?
Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you for the introduction. What you didn't say was my contest season actually didn't get off to a good start. So I actually lost at the club level, and I actually lost at the area level, and it was only through a lot of luck that I actually made it through that. And this being my first contest, I think it's very similar to many people in the audience, because I didn't have the skills. I can tell you the list of skills I didn't have was longer than the list of skills that I actually did have. I didn't have the networks because I didn't know anyone outside of my clubs. I, literally didn't know anyone outside of 2 clubs. And I didn't even have my second speech. So Mas, when you said you've got to practice both your speeches, I didn't even have a second speech until 3 weeks before the finals. So it was very similar, I think, to what a lot of first-time contestants feel like. You don't have enough of anything. And this being my first contest, I was like a sponge. So I tried to learn as much as I could. And one of the things that I came across was what Manoj had said in his book. And he said, when you've developed as a speaker, because you've gone from me to message to messenger. And at the start of my journey, it was all about me. In fact, the reason why I lost my club level contest was I had this wonderful story of an accident that I had on a snowmobile. And it was a fantastic story and then all these delivery things. But you know what? No one really cared about my story. And it didn't have a message. I didn't even know you needed a message. So you went from a me, then I started to learn, okay, maybe I need a message. And then from there, and I'm starting to get to the third part, I think I'm starting there, is to say, actually, it's not even about the message. It's about what is being a messenger for a message that the audience needs, not a message that I need, the message that the audience needs. So that's something I try to keep in mind and I don't even have high stakes speeches. I only have high stakes speech one. So I try to keep that in mind. What can I be a messenger for in this speech environment?
Thank you very much, Adeline. And it's amazing. In just such a short time, you're in Toastmaster. You already established the me, message, and messenger thing. That is so powerful. I mean, we take years just to learn that, and you learn it within a short time in Toastmaster.
You have to credit Manoj for that. I just stole it from his book.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but you learn it fast. And now let me ask the same question to Fursey. Fursey, how do you prepare yourself for such a high-stakes speech?
Is it a high-stakes speech?
Is it to you?
As a teacher who has to keep speaking with students, and every conversation is going to either get that kid to show back up the next day or not, that's a high-stakes speech. Because if I don't get that speech right, whether it's a minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, if I don't get that speech right, that kid doesn't come back tomorrow. So I've got that moment right then, right there to get that kid to come back. If I focus on myself during the speech, then the speech has very little value. But as my 2 predecessors have said, if you focus your speech on what your audience gets out of it, and fine-tuning that message so that they have an access point to what you're trying to say, and they have something that they can take away and improve their lives, then we have a high-stakes speech. And whether it's for contest or whether it's for making sure that your son or daughter is going to listen to you and come back to you tomorrow,
I think that's going to be the high stakes speech. And either way, if they get something out of it enough that they come back tomorrow, then we win. We all win.
I really like that, the way you define the high stakes speech. I mean, Mahathir, myself, we are both educators too. And it's so true about students, yeah, or even about adults that we coach, that, you know, getting the message across and be able to transform them, that makes it the high stakes speech. Thank you very much for the insight, Fursey. Thank you very much. So let me proceed on to the second question. And this one, I'm going to start with Adeline this time. So Adeline, I'm sure a lot of people influence you on your speaking, and you talk about Manoj. So the question is, who has influenced you the most, and how did he or she influence you?
That's actually a pretty tough question, because I would say I'm still finding my voice, just given that I'm quite new in this journey. And I, in every role I've taken on, right, in the corporate world and in life, I've always find that I need time to find my voice. I need one cycle to find my voice. So I'm still finding my voice. And the good thing about this stage is I'm just exposing myself to all different kinds of speakers. And I find that every speaker has something to offer. Some speakers, they can show you how they can simplify a message. Some speakers, how they use humor. Some speakers, how they set a scene. I think every world-class speaker has something to offer. So I would say there's definitely more than one speaker that I've learned something from. And what I would like, I think the thing that I want to focus on most is just bringing energy to speaking, because I find so much of the energy that we get a chance to transmit as speakers on a stage helps to pass that energy, transmit the energy to the audience. And the one speaker who comes to mind when you say energy is obviously Tony Robbins, right? He just has to stand there and immediately that aura, that energy goes through. And that's something that, I love, because I think that's the essence of a speaker. You help to change the energy in the room, the energy that everyone comes in with. And from that, you have the ability to help other people change. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adeline. And it's very true. We are all finding our voice every day, every minute of it. And especially when we go on stage and in Toastmaster. So it's normal. And I understand where you're going with that one. And bringing the energy. Yeah, I love it when people introduce humor in speeches like Mahathir did and all of you did at the finalists. It's really, the humor in it really brings the energy in the room. Fursey, same question to you. Who has influenced your speaking style the most, and how?
I take pieces from everyone. I take little bits from everyone that I watch and observe. It doesn't have to be a champion. It can be anyone. And I'll take little bits. But I think the most important thing, as Adeline was talking about, is finding your own voice, finding your own style. I think I've had several people come to me and say, I really like your style. And for the longest time, I was like, I'm not even sure what my style is. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to have integrity and go, this is who I am. I think if I ever tried to be anybody else, people could smell it. You got to remember, I'm around teenagers all day. They're like, and the first thing they smell is pizza. The second thing they smell is inauthenticness. Yes. You have to be totally transparent with them. I've seen, like Samuel's right here. I've seen him speak. Michael's right here. I've seen him speak. And I might pick up important things about what they bring to the table. I don't think I can carry off Michael Waiter's hair like he does. He's pretty sharp. But I might take his jacket. He looks sharp when he speaks. I might do that. It looks very distinguished. And sometimes I wish I could look a little more distinguished. Maybe I need to grow hair like Samuel's. But either way, I think you have to find, I think you've got to, don't spit that back out, Samuel. You got to watch drinking around me, man. It'll boomerang right back out. So I think you have to find your style. And I think you have to have integrity about the way you speak and be authentic about the way you speak, because I think today's audience, especially on Zoom, you can tell when somebody's being disingenuous.
Right. Agreed. Authenticity and being genuine about the speech and the way you presented it. Find your own identity. So true. You said. Thank you very much. Mas, over to you. So who influenced you the most and how?
I think I'm going to write off from what Adeline and Fursey mentioned. When I was very young, a very new Toastmasters back in 2016, I've always thought that, wow, becoming a world champion of public speaking is such a great honor. Whoever is a world champion, there's going to be so cool of a feeling, right? So I thought to myself, if I want to be like a world champion, I should act like a world champion, or rather I should copy a world champion. So at that naive mindset, I was watching past champions and I was trying to add in a little bit about what they do, their style and all that. And the first feedback that I gotten from people, you are copying someone else. Or why are you acting like that person? And that actually hit me a lot because I started to realize that most people, especially those who are competing and those who really want to be a world champion one day, they tend to do this. They tend to find world champions and try to copy their style. And that is something that I'm guilty of myself when I started my journey. But it was when I met my mentor, Simbok San, who is a local champion in Malaysia, when I realized that it's so important to be authentic. It's so important to be who you are. How are you communicating on a daily basis should not be far apart from who you are on stage. That is the most important thing that I've learned. And I've also read one book. It is by Matthew Dix. It's called Storyworthy. And he even said the same thing. If you are telling a story to someone, imagine as though you're giving it at a dinner table. Do you sound inauthentic during a dinner table? Not likely, because you're so common, right? It's something that you so naturally tell people in your own natural voice. So why should it be so different on stage? So after learning that, applying that in 2017, I started seeing changes in the way that I speak. So I have to give credit to that one person, Simbok San, for really changing the way that I speak.
All right, thank you very much. So all the three panelists agree. The way to a great speech is to be authentic and be yourself. Yeah. Thank you very, very much. Oh, Fursey, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi keeps cutting out, so I had to use my phone.
No, that's okay. Thank you for coming back, Fursey. So Fursey, the third question, so I'm going to start with you first. So the question is, what is one advice you will give someone aiming for the World Championship of Public Speaking? What is the one advice you will give that person?
Who is aiming to be the world champion?
Yeah, aiming to be, or at least getting into the finals, if not the world champion.
Don't reach for the trophy. Reach for the audience. Don't do it for the trophy. Because if all you're doing is going for the trophy, then you've missed the most important part. The most important part is for one moment, you have the ear of the world. For one moment, people are saying, we're going to listen to you. What do you have to say? And if all you have is something canned that we all know is reaching for a trophy, then you have lost all credibility. Because the first thing we're going to want is not your speech, it's not your voice, it's your voice in your heart. So that's what we have to have. That's the most important piece. So my suggestion to somebody who wants to be a champion is don't go, oh my gosh, that's what I just did. Don't do that. My one suggestion is do not turn on 2 microphones at the same time. No, my suggestion is you have to say, I'm here for my audience. I'm here for ears. I'm here for somebody's heart. And that was the best thing that people told me after this. They said, I thank you for your message. That gives me validation. I'm good.
Thank you, Fursey. So very true. Just like Richard Peck said, every one of us, when we get on that stage, we impact an individual. So that's our job, yeah? So what do you say, Mas Mahathir, to the same question, one advice? to that person?
My one advice to the person is take it seriously if you plan to compete in the international speech contest. Why I say this is because year after year in competing in this contest, I realized that, you know, some contestants, even from the club level, they say that, hey, you know what, I just came and thought about my speech while I was driving here. You know, that's a little bit too late, right? You're not taking it seriously.
Right.
And just like what Fursey says, when you join a contest, it's not so much for the trophy. You are given that moment to share a message. So if you're not taking it seriously, you're driving on the way to the contest and you're just thinking about your speech right there and then, you are not respecting the audience and you're not even respecting yourself. So if you aim to go far in this contest, start early. Not 2 days before, not 1 week before, at least a month before, like Adeline, you know? If not further up and further longer, you know, 2-3 months before would even be better, because the more you write your speech and rewrite your speech, it will sparkle, and that would touch people's heart better.
So I got to start writing my speech now for the international speech in March.
Yeah.
Thanks for the hint. Thanks for the hint. Yeah. And Adeline, what about you?
So I've learned from Mas, I have to start now.
Exactly. That's the message I get.
There you go. I think for me, because this year was really a very unusual year, I really did not expect to get this far.
Yeah.
So what I was really short of was time. But the value I got from that was, the big lesson I got from that was, how do I maximize my learning? Because similar to what Fursey said, right? You can't guarantee the winning. The winning is, there are a lot of factors outside your control, but what you can control is how much you learn. And that means going into it with a mindset of learning and saying, along the whole journey, how do I maximize every opportunity to learn? And this is where I discovered that if I go in with a mindset of learning versus a mindset of winning, there is such a big difference. And I'll give you an example, and some members of the audience have seen me in even in the late, about a month before the contest, testing ideas for speeches, because I really didn't have an idea for the second speech. And it was quite embarrassing because the person would say, oh, this person's, Adeline's a semi-finalist, we're so honored to have her here today. And I'll go in and I was reading off a piece of paper because I literally was just testing ideas for the speech. And I felt incredibly embarrassed, right? I wanted to go in and do this wonderfully packaged speech that was all, the staging was all perfect and everything. But if I did that, then I wouldn't get the opportunity to learn that that story wasn't going to fly, that message wasn't going to fly, that humor line wasn't going to fly. So it's really saying, I'm here to learn. I need to take every opportunity, every club that was so kind to invite me to test my speech, to literally test my speech, and not go in and do a preview of the finals presentation, which is so tempting to do because you want to go in and you want to wow people, and then people go, wow, it's a perfectly packaged final speech. But the mindset of learning says, no, I'm here to test and to learn. And even if I fall flat, and there were some very embarrassing moments where I felt so bad, I was like, I kept apologizing. I'm really, really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. And Patricia Yap from Malaysia said, don't apologize. We're here to support you as a community. We're here to help you do your best. Yeah. That's why we're here to give you feedback and to give you all that. So I'd say go in with the mindset of learning, not of winning, which is a twist on Fursey's message. And what I found that having that mindset does is it helps you to attract the coaches that you need at each level of the competition. Because I didn't realize this, but every single level of the competition is a whole different game. Like what you got away with in level 1, you cannot get away with level 2. What you got away with level 2, you cannot get away with level 3. And definitely at the region and international level, you cannot get away with anything that flew before. And you need to attract the new coaches if you don't already have those coaches, because the coaches that help you at the previous levels may not be able to help you at the new levels. And if for me, having that mindset of learning, I think helped me to attract the coaches. And my main coach in the last month was Nitai Levy, who literally I didn't know until the end of July. And I reached out to him. I said, would you help me? I really need a lot of help. And he was so kind to me. And he said, the reason why I'm helping you, he said, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not a full-time coach. He has a very lucrative other job. He said, the reason I'm doing this is because I see how much you want to learn. And that's why I'm going to help you. So I think having that mindset of learning will help you attract the coaches you need as you go through the journey.
Right.
Okay.
Mindset of learning rather than winning.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. I think we only have time for one more questions. And this one, back to you, Mas Mahathir, for this question. You just returned from WCPS 2022, and what is one thing you felt that you could do better?
Wow, what's one thing that I felt I could do better?
Yeah.
Actually, when I look back, there's a lot of things that I wish I could have done better. But if I were to narrow it down to one specific thing, it is shifting the focus. Now, why I say this is because specifically in the semi-finals, in semi-final 3, right before going up on the stage, I was completely nervous, super shaky. So as I was standing on the stage, I realized I was speed running my speech. I was really going as fast as a bullet train. Even Malaysian train cannot keep up, you know? So that kind of speed, I felt it. I knew I was speaking too fast. But as I go through the speech and I start calming myself down, I realized that I can pace my speech better. But at the end of my speech, I went up to my partner as I said, oh man, I think I ran really fast with that speech, you know, especially at the start. So my focus at the start of the speech was more internal. I was worried about what I was going to say, if I'm going to say the right things, if I'm going to mess up, if I'm going to go blank. And that was a thing that actually made me it hindered my performance. But on the contrary, after experiencing the semi-finals and into the World Championship, I told myself to shift the mindset. The mindset that I had right before going up was, I'm going to have fun and I'm going to say something that matters to the audience. Because I asked Mike Carr, the 2020 World Champion, right before the contest, said, please help me. Can you give me a tip or two on what I need to do right before going up? And he said that have fun and share a message to the audience. Make sure that when you go up on stage, you're going to propel yourself just ready to go. And when I tried that, a lot of confidence suddenly just flooded into me because I had a shift in focus. So if I had a chance to redo the semi-finals again, that is one thing that I would focus on.
Very sage advice. I think all of us do. When we go on stage, we doubt ourselves a lot. And then the shifting of mindset is so important. Focus on the speech, focus on the message and the audience, not the speech kind of thing. Thank you very much for that sage advice. What about you, Adeline? One thing you could do better.
Well, so I competed on Zoom this year, and the reason for that was I grew up on Zoom. I joined Toastmasters during Zoom, during COVID. So really, you know, a lot of my experience was on Zoom. I actually didn't have a lot of experience with a live audience. And I look at, and this year was the first year we had a hybrid contest, and you had a choice of whether you wanted to do it live, which Mahathir did, and then or online, which Fursey and myself and several others did. And I had to go with Zoom simply because I didn't have the skills to do a live speech. And it's really very different. I think of it as playing tennis and playing squash. Both have a racket and both have a ball. But the way you play the game is very different. The way you score points, the way you engage the audience is very, very different. So for me, that's a whole new skill area that I need to develop. And so that's one area that I want to focus on, not just for the contest, like in general, like to be a public speaker, you need to have both skills and you need to be able to connect the live audience as well as connect the audience on Zoom. So that's something I want to work on.
All right. Thank you very much for that one. And Fursey, what about you? One thing you could do better, what would it be?
I could have been more grateful. I know this is not the answer you're looking for, but sorry, I hit the wrong button again. Okay. So one thing I can do better is learn how to use the mute button. No, I know this is not the answer you're looking for, but I did the speech many times, just like everybody else, and you're getting help from people, and I made the conscious choice to get help from people that would be in the audience, so to speak, and not from coaches. And so, like, I went to one club here, one club. I was even at one club in Germany, and that's where I first, I think, met Uniati, and she was, zooming in. And Kim, I I started getting to the point where I was just going meeting to meeting and not really getting more invested in the people that were there.
Right.
And if I'm going to do this all over again, I'm going to make sure that I enjoy the journey a little bit more and get to know the people that I'm getting feedback from. Between region and the semis, I took a vacation, you know, and I went up to base camp at Mount Everest. And I sat there and thought, wow, everybody has their Everest. Everybody has their Everest of what they're trying to climb. And I realized then and there that the championship was not my Everest. The championship is great. Don't get me wrong. I would love to win it. I enjoyed being there. But see, I just lost camera. But the thing is,
we can still hear you.
What I realized about Everest is that there's something else in my life that's Everest, and it has to do with being able to be helpful to people. That's why I taught for 30 years. So the first thing I did when I could is, and I got in touch with my district director and I said, I want to visit every club. I want to visit every single club in the district, and I want to be useful. I want to help them. I want to help them get members. I want to help their members become better mentors. And I said, it doesn't really matter what happens from here on out. Right now, I'm district champion. So let's leverage that. I have 1 year, right? Because next year there's going to be another champion. I have 1 year to leverage this position. Put me to use, put me on Zoom, put me in person, put me in with people who can't speak English, but only Mandarin. And let's make use of this opportunity. That's the opportunity. So if I had one thing that I would do better, is one thing I learned, it's to be grateful for what you have, because it's a great journey. And that's what you got to take into account. Thanks, Kim. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of you for inviting me here today.
Oh, Fursey, I mean, that is a beautiful realization of being grateful to all the people that help us get where we are today. Yeah. So thank you very much to the three of you for sharing your experience, your advice, your tips and everything. So let me just summarize some of the messages that I get from all of you. First, find your own voice. Don't fake it and pretend to be somebody else. Be authentic. Make impact with your messages. Reach the audience, not the trophy. And the mindset of learning, not winning. Shifting the mindset, right? Have fun and just be yourself, and being grateful for all the help you're going to get to where you are today. So those are great feedbacks and advice that you guys have given us. So thank you so much to the three of you, Mas Mahathir, Adeline Ng, and Fursey Gutoaco. Thank you very much. I shall hand over to Adi now, who has got some questions from the floor for the panelists. Over to you, Adi.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Kim.
Kim. Fellow Toastmasters, we've heard from the fantastic three, from the fabulous Fursey to the adorable Adeline, and of course to the marvelous Mas Mahathir. But we're still in quest of answers, and the quest starts now. And we'll only know the answers if you will ask. So, fellow Toastmasters, your questions are welcome. But I would just like to remind you that we would try to get answers for as many questions as we could, but we may not have the time to have all of them answered. So, first come, first serve. Ask us now. Drop it in the chat box. Any questions?
Michael has a question, I think, already.
Hi, Michael.
Yes, how's everybody doing? Great, I think. Okay, here's a scenario. You are speaker number 5, speaker number in the finals. Speaker number 4 has just finished and got their applause. It's your turn. What do you do the last 30 seconds before you step on stage? Any of our panelists? Fursey, go
Yes,
ahead.
Fursey.
You stand there, you're ready, you walk up there and you think in your mind, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And what I'm about to say is the most important thing you need to hear today, because it's going to change your life. If you go into it with that mindset, then you're focused on your audience and you've made an immediacy about your message. It's urgent, and that makes it important in everybody's mind.
Thank you, Fursey. Adeline?
Sure. So I would say, actually, I didn't watch any of the contestants before me because I was just focused on that. So it didn't matter who came before. But for me, the most important thing I learned in this is that the way to connect with the audience is through emotions. What the audience is going to feel is the emotions. So making sure that I feel that emotion, you know, at the moment that I start the speech, and especially the extreme emotions that I need to transmit my message. And so one of the things that Nitai taught me was, in the 5 minutes, not 30 seconds, but 5 minutes before the speech, have an emotional routine where you take the two extreme emotions. And for me, for example, my bear speech, the two extreme emotions were fear, I was terrified of the bear, and love for my mother. And how do I feel those emotions in me so that I can also spread those emotions to the audience as they hear the message, because that's the part that the audience is going to take away. They're not going to take away the story, they're not going to take away the words, but they're going to take away how it made them feel. And I have to feel that before the audience can feel that.
Okay, thank you. Mas,
Thank
any
you,
comments?
Adeline.
All right, sure. So I'm gonna go a little bit different from them. So being physical, let's say we have 30 seconds left, right? And the previous speaker just walks to the back. Now, the one thing that I would recommend most people to do, and this is something that I did in the back, I encouraged the speaker who had just completed, gave them a high five and just congratulated them. And I think this is so powerful, because when you do so, not only do you make the other person feel good, but you yourself feel good because you encourage another person. And I remember a speech saying, be an encourager. That's exactly what you have to do. And when you do that, you will feel good. Walking on the stage, you will also feel good. Back to you.
Thank you, champions. Thank you, Michael. Now I have another question from Elliot. And he has asked, if you'll be given a chance to present your speech again, another chance to present an international speech on the same stage, are you going to use the same speech or are you going to change it? Yes, Fursey?
Already ready for more messages. You know, when you become a speaker, you don't just have this voice, you got the voice in your heart, and you've got so many things you have to say, so many things you want to say, and you're just ready for the next opportunity to help the next individual. And I don't know if the other speakers have that, or whether it's just because I get this barrage of students all day long. And so I'm having to respond to their needs. And I tell you what, one of the other things you get good at as a speaker, you get radar for things. You start to see life differently. You start to look at every single thing that happens and wonder, what's the universal truth from that? And you're pulling all these truths from life and you're formulating them in your head and you're shaping them into the words that you need to be able to let everybody else know, I think I have a slice of something here that you might be interested in. And so what we've said already, that's one thing. That's a speech. But we here on this call, we're not talkers. We're speakers. It's not about the speech. It's about speaking and changing lives. That's what it's about, not talking or a speech. So keep thinking of ideas.
Thank you, Fursey. Adeline, would you like to answer that?
Sure. So I believe that for me, because I did run out of time to prepare, the speech was has still some legs to go. So I would say and this is something that I think anyone who's competed seriously, as Mahathir said just now, you realize that every speech really goes through so many iterations. And if it's a message that needs to be heard, and it can be further enhanced with improving the current speech, then I would say then that's what we want to do, to just keep improving it so that that message comes across stronger. And some people have said it takes 30 rewrites, 50 rewrites, 80, 100 rewrites before that message becomes crystal clear and becomes so relevant. So I think that every speech has a life cycle that it goes through. Some speeches are as perfect as they can get, the messages out there. Some speeches still have a few more iterations to go. So for me, that would be the deciding point. Thanks, Ardy.
Thank you, Adeline. How about marvelous Mahathir?
Wow, Adeline took the words right out of my mouth. So I'm going to just summarize, yeah? Basically, I would do the same thing as Adeline. I would go for the same speech because this is a message that I wanted to share. And I know that this speech can evolve further. And had I had more time, I would keep diving deeper and finding ways to escalate, to elevate, to make the speech even more impactful for the audience. So short answer, yes, same speech.
Yeah, I'm loving it. Yes, thank you, champions. Here's another question from Sajni. And she asks, how do you decide what message you would want to deliver? Let's start now with Mahathir.
Thank you, Sajni, for that question. So how did I decide this? It came about because at that point of time, I started seeing a lot of things that actually made me feel something. And when you feel something and you take time to reflect on that something, you will start to see a message. Because at that point of time, when I created the final speech, it was actually created about 2 years ago. So at that moment, I started realizing that, well, my mom is a tough mom. She's always been like that. But aside from that, I noticed that there are many people around me, and not just people I know, but people I don't know, they are labeling and avoiding people in their lives. Poor people on the street, label, avoid. People acting different, label, avoid. And that became an inspiration because I started realizing that what if people gave more listening ears and understanding hearts? If we understood them, maybe our perception of them will change. And that in itself inspired me to craft that speech.
Yes, Adeline.
Get to go next. Thank you. So in terms of coming up with the speech, I'll talk specifically about the final speech, which was be bigger, and the message was be bigger than your fear. And I tried to think of messages that have shaped my life, like the core beliefs that have shaped my life. And what are these moments in my life that, the way I thought about things just completely changed. And this is where it's like, wow, what if someone could also experience that? And this is a core belief of mine, that I believe we can control fear. Fear is, you can't control the external circumstances, but you can control how you react to it and your emotional response to it. And that's where I really wanted to talk about, how do you just be bigger than your fear? How do you, realize that the fear can be as small as a teddy bear if you want it to be, and it can be huge if you want it to be. So why not make it be small? Then you're not afraid of doing anything. So for me, that was something that was a very fundamental belief, and I came to that learning probably halfway through my life. And so I'm like, oh, I just wasted the first half of my life, but let's not waste the second half of my life. And that was a message I really I wanted to share with the audience. So that's how I came up with the topic. Thank you, Ivy.
Thanks, Adeline. And Fursey.
You have to respond to the things that are going on in your life. For that final speech, it was because that kid contacted me on Facebook. And all of a sudden, it gave my life a totally different perspective. So you respond to the things that happen, no matter how small. And for example, just this past week, I'm there talking to a group of parents. And, oh, yeah, you see, I just lost it again. I was speaking to a group of parents, and everybody else was using the mic, and it's a big group. And I went, hey, can you hear me in the back? And somebody's like, yeah. And I went, no, I mean, can you hear me? And I said, this is what our kids are going to be saying to you and to the world. I was trying to tell them that we're preparing their kids for the world. We're preparing their kids to stand on a world stage and say, can you hear me? Not just can I take an SAT test, or not just can I get into this or that college, but can you hear me? So that every kid is empowered to change the world. That's what I wanted the parents to get. And that just happened, like a table topic. So I would tell you the same thing I tell people with table topics: be open. And then when that table topic hits you, think about at another time, not at that moment, but think about extending that to a 5 to 7 minute speech. Take that spark, take that little piece of lightning, can it, bottle it, leave it in your heart to grow and ferment. And it's going to become something that just juices up for you, you know, and you're going to be like, man, I've got a message. I got something to say because something happened to me, and there could be a universal truth to it for somebody else. Jump on it, leap with it. Don't wait till you're in the contest to speak from your heart. Forget the contest. Change your audience. Move your audience from here to there, from A to B, from here to there. And you're going to find yourself moving forward in directions that you never thought of.
Wow. Now I'm on fire. That tiny spark is now on fire. Woo! Thank you, champions. Now, this question is related to the other one. How did you come up with your topic, considering that you have a lot of choices? Who would like to start? Adeline?
Sure. So I didn't realize how much thinking time it takes, how much preparation it takes before you even write the first word or stand on stage for the first time. And you know, thinking of the topic, thinking of the message is so much a part of building that foundation for a good speech. Because if you don't have a strong message, you don't have a strong topic, it doesn't matter what you do on all the fluff around it, right? The facial expressions, the humor, all those are the painting the house. But if you don't have a house with a strong foundation, that falls apart. And so it was really a lot of thinking, a lot of testing, a lot of crossing off the list, trying to ask myself, is this a message that this audience would like to hear? Is this a message that this audience would resonate with at this time in their lives, at this time being there in Nashville, just trying to understand it from an audience perspective in terms of this is a message that would resonate. But a lot of thinking and preparation is how I would put it.
Thanks, Adeline. How about you, Mas?
Thank you so much, Phoebe, for asking this question. Just to answer the question, I think it is very similar to Adeline. It takes a lot of thinking time, but to go a little bit deeper than that, every moment in our lives or an incident that happens, I write down the messages that I've learned. So one particular incident can actually have many messages, right? For example, if the way my mom treats me, I could be give a listening ear, understanding heart. It could be talk to her more. It could be grateful that she's loving me in her own ways. There's so many things. So when I chose a message, I chose something that hopefully is more universal, and at the same time, something that doesn't really make people go that, that's too cliche, you know, that's too straightforward. So as we seen in Verity Price's speech in 2021, she could have just write her speech as a simple one, right? Because her title was A Great Read. She could have just said, write your own story, which is very cliche, but she changed it to the angle, which is, it will make for a great read. So look at the incident, lay out all the messages, and then try to find an angle that makes the message a little bit more fresh. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Mas. And Fursey.
Absolutely, different perspectives. You have to look at everything in your life and see it from a different perspective. You know, as a comedian once said, is it a man juggling or schizophrenic playing catch? And so we all have events going through our life,
Here's another one about fishing. There's a fine line between a man standing on a dock fishing and a man just standing on a dock. I'm sure I've just insulted a lot of people who are fishing, but the idea is you figure out what it is that's in your life, right? Whatever it is in front of you. A tree is there in front of you, and can you come to the side and then see it from a completely different point of view, and see it from many different points of view? And when you can do that, then you start to pull that universal truth out of it. So there's a quote, you walk into a forest and you come out taller than the trees. What could that possibly mean? And all of a sudden you start to get insight into mentoring. You start to get insight into how you learn from giants. You start to get insight to the little things that we do that affect big things in the world. You connect all those dots together and you figure out which one resonates. Be open to it. Be open to a lot of different ideas. And I think you're going to find that you're a better conduit of great ideas than you think. And the same event can be looked at by Lynn, and she'll come up with one thing. The same event will be looked at by Joseph and Phoebe, and each of them will come up with a different take on it. What's your take on it? Have a take. Get involved with it. Be a fly that lands on the idea. What's that look like? And that's going to be different.
Thank you, Fursey. And I'd like to acknowledge Phoebe for bringing up that question. I was so hooked to those champions. That's why I forgot to mention their name. Phoebe, thank you for the question. The next question is from Angela Lansbury. How do you keep enthusiasm for the old speech and not think they've heard it before? So they are bored, and so am I. And I change it and get lost. Who would like to start? Ladies first, Adeline. Oh, Fursey. Okay. Fursey, go ahead.
One of the beautiful things about being in the contest is you get that opportunity to refine the speech. You're not doing the same speech over and over and over and over again. That's one of the things that people don't get who don't get into the contest. That when you do a speech in Toastmasters, it tends to be a one-off. You do it, check the box, throw it away, moving on up, pathways. When you do a contest speech, it's like pause. Now let's go further, and let's go further, and let's go further. Now turn it around and see it from this way. Now take the same concept and do a different value on it. Now shade it that way. Now play with the pausing, find a different message. And all of a sudden, every little thing you do tweaks it. And you're like, whoa, I never saw it from this close before. And then you take it all apart and then you put it back together again. And all of a sudden, it's like, wow, I thought I had the same speech, but now it's something different, baby. And you do that, and you always find something different each time. And that's the beauty of being in the contest.
Thank you, Fursey. Wow. Adeline, would you like to add to that?
Yes. Wow, Fursey is a table topics champion because he's got the whole zoom in, zoom out. Wow, wonderful. So about 10 years ago, I had a chance of working with a very famous professor, and I was following him around on a 3-week tour in Asia. And he was famous for a certain theory, and he would be invited to give the same speech, basically about this theory. And he would do it maybe 4 or 5 times a day to different audiences. And I got to accompany him, so I saw how every time he was delivering the same speech, using the same slides, but there was so much excitement, as if you're saying it for the first time. And I was like, how does he do that? And I realized that the way he thought was, hey, this may be his 10,000th time he was doing it, but this was the first time that some people in the audience were listening to it. And so he spoke to them as if he was speaking for the first time and they were hearing it for the first time, which they are. And so that was a different thing. It's like you've never stepped in the same river twice, right? So he was really appreciating that they came to see him, and people in the audience needed to hear that message. And that gave so much freshness to that. And as Fursey say, when you give something, you also get something in return. And that's where different people give you different perspectives on how you can improve that speech, how you can tell it differently, how you can reach people and reach different people in different ways. And so as Fursey said, every occasion is really a learning occasion, not just for the audience, but also for the speaker.
Thank you, Adeline. And of course, Mas.
Thank you so much, Angela, for asking that question. And I'm going to be very, very honest with you. I'm on the same boat. Whenever I look back at my speech, I get bored to the point that I get really sick of my saying the first line of my speech. I'll go like, oh God, this again. You know, it is a very common feeling, right? But the one thing that Fursey said also makes sense, which is every time you revisit your speech, you rewrite your speech, you re-edit your speech, it looks a little bit different, it feels a little bit different, and you start to see the different side of the speech. The other aspect of just re-editing and reworking on your speech is the message in itself. Now, when I write my speeches, I look at the message, right? Whether I write it down somewhere or I make it really big for me to see, I look at that message and I feel this tinge or this electric going through my body, something like that, because I know that this is a message that I really want to deliver. Sure, the first parts of the speech and all the little details of the speech can be a bit boring at times when you keep giving it again and again, but essentially when I get to the part of that message, I suddenly feel this jolt of excitement. And that in itself kept me refining, reworking, re-editing the speeches, because like Adeline said as well, when you end up giving that speech because it's a new set of audiences, that is where you start changing lives as well. So yes, it is common to feel bored, and I'm being very honest, you will feel bored, but focus on the message, focus on the audience.
Oh, thank you, champions. And the quest for answers end here. I wish we had more time, but fellow Toastmasters, we've learned so much from these three fantastic, amiable, and marvelous champions. Fursey, Adeline, and Mas Mahathir, thank you for this wonderful opportunity of getting to know you better and getting to learn more from your tips, from your humble beginnings as Toastmasters, from your pointers and advices. We will definitely keep it in our hearts. And so we will be givers, because as learners, we need to give back. And let us conclude this question and answer session by a photo session. Please open your cameras and give that best smile. Zoom Master, tell us when you're ready so we can flash that beautiful smile.
Put on the best smile, guys, and turn on your cameras.
Yay!
Madam SA, are you taking the picture or should I?
Hooray to the Fantastic Three! Hooray!
And kindly refrain from putting messages in the chat for the moment. Let us take the pictures on the count of 3, 2, and 1. That is page 1. That's the second. There's 3 pages here. Let me see if all of you look fantastic as well. That's the first one done. All look great. Let me see page 2. Keep smiling. You never know. You never know which page you're on. Turn on your cameras, guys. Turn on your cameras.
I think those of us on page 2 look very good, I think. Way to go, page 2.
You can be on page 2, you can be on page 3. You never know where you are. Just keep
Come on, page 3.
There's a page 3 coming, so keep smiling, guys. Hold that pose, hold that pose. We want that lovely pose there so that we don't miss any of you. All right, I've got all those pictures taken. Fantastic, fantastic. Wow, what an evening, I have to say. I'm sure we are all truly inspired by the champs, aren't we all? Give a big round of applause to all of them. Unmute yourselves and make all that noise. World travelers are never so quiet. Now, before we move on to the next, and the ending is we're coming to the end of the session today, we also celebrate our birthday. Birthday for the month of September. So all of you who are September babies, just shout out and we shall acknowledge you. Madam President, are we ready? President, are we ready?
Yeah, ready. We sing together lah.
We will sing together, okay? All the September babies on your videos and on your, unmute yourself, all right? Let's go. Sing the happy birthday song, all right? Come on, guys, on the count of 3, 2, 1.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday
to you.
Obviously, they are not singers. Obviously, they are not singers.
Fine.
Yeah, Toastmaster, not singers.
We must have a new club just for singers now. We will start another new club, right, Madam President? A new club is on the way to rehearse more on singing. With that, now let me hand over the screen to our Madam Vice President of Education, Vasanti, to do the closing remarks and some other things. I'll let her say.
Zajani, sorry.
Yes.
I just want to acknowledge we have a guest here, our past international director, Pro Kim Seong, and also CGD District 33, Yuko Martin. And we also have our semi-finalists, also together with the champions, DPM Nazir in the house. So it's a renew, even we cannot have Nisa today, but we also have the semi-finalists to make a reunion here for all of you.
Yes. Thank you. And over to you, Vasanti.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Wasn't that a fabulous sharing session? Yes. Can I ask all of you to give a roaring applause to the panelists for their generous sharing? I am sure you would not have had a dull moment today. There are so many takeaways. We never know. Anybody from this crowd could be the world champion the next year.
Yes.
And remember this particular meeting saying that you got all those tips and tricks from the champions themselves when you prepared. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
This event would not have been possible without the group of people who generously accepted our invite and said that they would be here with us tonight, although it's just too soon from the world stage, from the annual convention. They all are here together. So a small honor from our side for the panelists. Can we make some noise? Master, could you please spotlight Mas Mahathir?
Can we have Mas Mahathir spotlighted? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there he comes.
Put on your best smile so that we will have it on record. Anyone else coming in before we take the picture?
Nope.
No, the three of you? Okay, fantastic. Let me just do a quick quality check if all of you look excellent in the picture. Yes, you do. Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you, Mas Mahathir. We are very humbled.
Thank you very much.
We are grateful for the generous sharing by you and the other panelists. Next, Fursey. So, Master, could you please spotlight Fursey?
And we have Fursey spotlighted.
Probably he has 2 accounts that he has logged in from.
Yeah.
It's there.
Put on your biggest smile, your bestest smile, if there's such a word in English. All right, on the count of 3. Oops, 1 second. I saw that. Oh, I love your sense of humor, Fursey. You're great, you know.
Thank you, Fursey.
Yes.
We love you.
Excellent.
We love you. We love you. We love you.
Yes.
Picture taken. Thank you, guys.
Next comes our own district, Adeline Ng. We all have bloomed because of you. You look.
Oh, thank you.
All right, lovely smiles, on the count of 3, 2, 1. Okay. Fantastic.
Thank you, World Travelers. Thank you,
Thank you,
Liza.
Adeline. Thank you so much. And now comes our very own team who put together this event and worked nonstop for the past couple of weeks, together with our own DCs, DCMs, and whatnot.
Oh.
Toastmaster of the evening, DTM Sajni Dharamdas.
It looks like I'm going to take my own picture.
No, I'll take it for you.
I think for you, Sajni.
Okay.
Smile. 3, 2, 1. Yes, one more. 3, 2, 1. Got it.
Thank you
Kim.
so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Stay on there, Kim. Next is your turn.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you, Kim, for keeping the panel discussion so lively. I think
welcome.
every question that the audience had wanted to ask, those questions all came from you. And I think we got the answers without even asking. We just
Absolutely. You know, it was wonderful sharing from the panelists.
Yeah, and they were so generous.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kim.
On the count of 3, 2, 1, here we go. Here we go. Let me just check if it's all in order. All right, fantastic.
Thank you, Kim.
Next comes our moderator for the Q&A segment,
Ardi. Yay, Ardi.
What happened with your face?
Just a minute. I'll remove the background. Just a minute. I'll remove the background. Just a minute.
Yes, please.
There.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, a great smile, Ardi. On the count of 3, 2, 1. Let's see how it turned out. 1 second. Okay, fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Adi. Thank you so much. Next comes our timer, DTM Lee Shanshan.
Shanshan. Okay, on the count of, please put on a big, beautiful smile, ladies. Oh, ladies, come on. On the count of 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Let's see how it turned out. Fantastic. Thank you.
Next, myself. Just putting the team together and chasing them non-stop on the messages and phone calls.
Did we want to see the messages? I don't know.
Awesome job, Basante. Organizing chair.
It's the HPL for Vasanti. So
Yes.
everyone, if you want to do your HPL, DTM project, just come to World Travelers.
Yes.
So put on a big, beautiful smile. Let's take a picture now. Smile.
You, Vasanti.
Hey, Vasanti. Let's see how
You are awesome.
Thank you
Yes.
so much.
All right.
Yes.
That's
And
done.
here comes
Thank
the
you.
captain of the captain of our flight.
Yoo-hoo! Liza. One more picture. One big smile once more. Smile, please. On the count of 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Let's see.
You. Awesome voice, Eliza.
Okay.
Save the last for
Best
the
for the last.
best.
Ramesh.
Ramesh.
For the awesome support, the background, the technical support, Ramesh Halai, our
This
BPR.
is a big surprise. This is a big surprise for me. Big surprise. Thank you.
Okay, we see you now. that was
says-
certainly a
it says
surprise,
my
wasn't
internet
it?
is unstable. It says my internet is unstable.
Okay.
No, now you're okay. I think you were right on time for the picture, Ram.
Yeah.
You're a big
all right,
smile,
thank you,
Ram.
everyone.
Ram is no longer a visiting Toastmaster, by the way, yeah, guys.
He's already our member, isn't he?
Yeah. And
Put
he's
on a big broad smile, Ram. Come on. On the count of 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
this comes to the end of the appreciation session. And if we may have just another few minutes from the audience to give us a feedback about being here tonight with us, do they have anything to share? Would you please raise your hands if you want to share about the WTC meeting? No more questions for the panelists, I'm sorry. We may have to wait for the next session.
Vasanti, I need to talk.
Yes, Fursey.
You guys did a great job putting it together. I mean, chasing us all down and assembling it and the questions, really well done. Thank you, everybody, for helping to put it together.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Fursey. We are a small little cozy club for now, but we are traveling around the world. We are just 6 months old. Like I said, somebody from the crowd could be a champion and they would remember you and me when they win, and then the champion speech might recall all the moments. Thank you, Fursey. Thank you. Next we have
Thank
Michael Wider.
Well, it's very easy. Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait. sorry. Mas, you want to get something for World
No,
Travelers?
that. Yeah, I want to say something for world travelers. I mean, many of us have flown. Many of us have flown on local flights, another city, another country close by. But when you go on a trip around the world, and I don't know if you've done that, but I've done it twice. This club is an around the world trip. It's not a local flight from one city to another. This club is beyond that. This is a world tour. And tonight's speakers you had, super. I've seen all three of them before, more than once. And I can tell you, they did a better job prior to that final competition than what they did at the competition, because they were number 2, 3, and 4 on my list. So I think they deserve a huge welcome to our club, and we want to thank them because they all gave us something important tonight. This was a around the world tour, not local. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for the kind words. Mas, we go with you next.
Sure, thank you so much. And I just want to say thank you to all the members here who have made this possible. I think this is something that's so value adding, and not just for the audience here today, but also for us as a panel speakers as well, because we get to see so many different faces, so many different people from around the world. And it's just amazing to see how all of you have that vision and mission to make this a success. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for having me here. You guys are amazing. Keep it up.
Thank you, Mas. We look forward to hosting you again some other time. Lynn Gregory, you may unmute and have your feedback given, please.
Oh, hi. First of all, thank you to everyone who's turned up. And as you know, in the UK, it's been quite an emotional few days. And I think what this has shown again is that we all come together as friends. There's no difference between us, skill definitely, and I've learned a lot today, so thank you very much for a very, very interesting and different meeting. But it's about peace and friendship, isn't it? But by having this club and traveling around the world, we take with us at every single meeting that hope for peace between all of us, no matter what we believe in, what our culture is. It really doesn't matter, because right at the very heart of it, I think it was Fursey who said, go from the heart. I apologize if it was someone else, but go from the heart. And I think that's what we do in Toastmasters around the world. We come from the heart to bring people together. And I truly, truly thank you all. And on a technical level, I really appreciate, although I missed it the first time I looked, is the fact you put all the times down the side when you put it on Facebook, that it's on at a certain country, and I just can now look down UK and find the time rather than trying to work out what time it is. But again, from the heart, thank you all very, very much indeed.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you so much. You said it's so right. We all are connected by hearts and we pray for world peace. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Adeline, unmute yourself when you go next.
Yes, thank you, Vasanthi. So one thing I'd like to share is I love World Travelers mission. And in fact, this was a secret weapon that really, really helped me. Clubs that we step outside our local clubs. As you see, a lot of us join our local clubs and we know the people in local clubs. But to compete on the world stage, you have to test your message. You have to practice in front of a world audience. And that's where World Travelers comes in. And what's amazing is a lot of people in the audience, a lot of people who started World Travelers like Eliza are super connectors in the world of Toastmasters. And Eliza was she was my area director last year, and she was so amazing. She hooked me up with clubs in South Africa, in Middle East, everywhere around the world that I would never have connected with. Joseph, yes, Joseph was very, very kind. He invited me to his club as well. And, you know, I think that's what makes World Travelers so special, that the people who are willing to step out of your local club are attracted to World Travelers. And this is where, if you're going to compete on the world stage, this is where you need to start making those super connections, because then you get exposed to an even larger stage and you get to connect with the world around. As Lynn said, Toastmasters, what I really learned in this journey is how much the Toastmasters community gives. No matter where you are, you don't have to be from the same district, you don't have to be from the same club, and people are so willing to help everyone else. And it's all because we're connected at the heart. Thank you.
So very well summarized, Adeline. I think your journey even has all these bits put together and you saw it live going through this journey, isn't it? Okay, we are 10 minutes past our time for closing the meeting, but I think every minute is so precious that nobody's going to complain. I'm sure each of us had a lot of takeaways that we are going to sit through the Sunday and reflect and probably chew the bites that we got from the 3 panelists that we had. And it was a super awesome meeting ever. And Eliza has something to say finally before we call it.
No, I want to ask our past international director about us. Yeah.
Oh.
And also, please give a little bit space for our CGD later.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eliza, club president. In Toastmaster, there's a saying, there's no stranger in Toastmaster, it's only the friends you have not met. And tonight, your club have bring value to Toastmaster members. And on top of that, you bring 3 finalists into your meeting to share their wisdom, to share their experience. It's through all this sharing, you bring our Toastmasters standard higher and higher. And it's one of my dreams to see a champion from different part of the world in the world stage. And whether it's online, offline, the Toastmaster experience where your club, World Traveler, create is amazing by connecting members from different part of the world, bringing together, and we are one big family. Whether you're from UK, Singapore, Malaysia, or South Africa, we are one big family in Toastmaster. And I thank you for putting this great effort. And every time now and then where your club have meeting, where you don't need an air ticket and don't need a passport, you just need a Zoom account to get everybody connected. Thank you, World Traveler, for bringing this wonderful program for our members. Over to you.
Is it over to me? Okay, thank you very much, our past international director, Kim Xiong. And do you think that I have a sexy voice today? Yeah, it's okay. I'm very happy to see all of you here. And little bit, I also want to have a feedback from our friend from District 33, California. She is the CGD and hopefully she will join us soon. So, Nico, feedback for us, our
Well, thank you so much for calling my name. I didn't expect it, but I'm so glad that I joined this club. I haven't paid though, but pretty soon. Thank you so much.
and we also have our semi-finalist, distinguished Toastmaster Nazil Al Qasim. He is also same district with me, 79, but now I'm in 80. So, ETM Nazir, do you have anything you want to say about this club? ETM Nazir, are you there?
He is.
ETM Nazir, you are frozen.
Mute. Do you hear me?
Yeah,
do you hear
now.
me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm always thrilled to be in meetings with you in any club all over the world. Thank you so much for bringing such a unique, combination of leaders and champions. Always happy to be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Anybody else want to say before I adjourn the meeting? So if nobody want to say, let's adjourn the meeting. Let's have a good rest for this Saturday. It's Sunday. What day is today? I also don't know. But we had a very great
Today is a special day.
Guys,
It's a
I just want to let you know,
Mid-Autumn
lucky
Festival.
thing we are AOG, okay? If not, we are going to have a turbulence in our flight. Oh, we have a Rachel Escolar. Maybe we want to hear something from her.
It was a very fun meeting. Thank you so much. And I really didn't expect it to be an open panel today. I thought it was going to be a regular meeting. So coming into the meeting, I wasn't really expecting all of this, but I took a lot. And as someone who has never participated in the international speech contest, I got a lot of insights from tonight, and well, we'll see. But amazing learnings from everyone. Thank you so much. And thank you, Artie, for inviting me to this meeting.
Wow, awesome, Adi. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. For all the rest, I just want to let you know, this is the time for us to make our reinvestment in Toastmasters. So don't forget to contact our treasurer, Swarna, to make your renewal. And for all of you who wants to join our free flight to go around the world, but passportless, moneyless, visa-less, virusless, everythingless, please join us and meet with our beautiful VPM, Sangeeta Bhattacharya. Where is she? Yeah, Sangeeta, are you there? Yeah. Okay, you can contact with our beautiful VPM, Sangeeta. She will tell you. And we have a discount 6 USD if you pay for 1 year.
Yes. Because it's our 6 months birthday, so we are offering this small discount.
So make sure to connect with us in our Facebook World Travelers Toastmaster Club. And also happy Mid-Autumn for all the friends. Don't forget to share your mooncake with me. Thank you. Have a good day, and let's have a 2-second of silence for the passing away of our queen. Thank you. Even I'm not in UK, but my name was taken from her name. Okay. Good night, everyone.
Good
Have
night.
a safe journey.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, see you.
Stay strong.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you guys again. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
The World Championship